Hi everyone, I'm Stellian, storyteller, lightworker, authenticity alchemist, and I just launched my Substack, the Lightworkers Hub. One of these sections is called Cinescent, which combines cinema and the ascension journey, where I'll be capturing channeled messages and everything that you must pay attention to right now as we're awakening and ascending. And I've been rewatching Stranger Things, and I finally noticed something that you probably have already seen because it's in season one, and I can't believe I missed it. Because I know that the show is based or inspired, using the MK Ultra files. It's inspired by them to generate the governmental base and to replicate some of the experiments, but I didn't actually know there is a frame in the I think it's the fifth or the sixth episode where they actually mentioned MK Ultra. It's actually shown. It's in our faces. So it never ceases to amaze me how the truth is consistently shown in our faces throughout various resources, various TV series and movies, and we keep forgetting about it. And I think this is one of the greatest traps that we have undergoing at the moment. The illusions, the manipulation is applied so frequently that it's so easy to forget the truth. It's so easy to forget that these are things happening because you have a brand new referral program starting, brand new giveaway starting over there. All of these brands are doing things to keep us programmed, to keep the programming continue. And every season we're expecting it from different brands, from fashion, from food and beverages. We're expecting the seasonal gifts and discounts. But the truth is being shown to us consistently as well. It's periodically, seasonally shown to us, channeled in our faces. And I was amazed. I had to pause for a moment, collect my thoughts, and think to myself, "Wow, they actually showed it to us." I know all the files have been declassified now, so everyone can read about MK Ultra. I know a lot of victims of MK Ultra are coming forward with their stories. They're remembering how they've been tortured, how practices that could be explained, that could be defined as abuse, have been applied to them to test their reactions, to test their abilities. And I think this is where the governments of the world don't seem to get it. Your Everyone has spiritual abilities, but you cannot manipulate people to activate their spiritual abilities so that you can enslave them into your war machines, into your war agendas. So one of the most important messages that I think it's encoded in Stranger Things, even though it's not the message of Stranger Things, is that governments are trying to use spiritual abilities as a war tool, which goes against the universal laws. So, in the process, they have not only violated the universal laws, but they have opened up energetic portals that are bringing monsters like the Demogorgon into our world. And these are either demonic entities, especially if you're more of a, if your understanding of the spiritual warfare is coming from religious background, these are demonic entities. If you are perceiving the spiritual warfare through the lens of a more multidimensional lens, or more of the consciousness, these are very low level frequency beings. And even in season one, we can see that the Demogorgon that entered the earthly plane, it doesn't have a purpose beyond surviving. It's a low level entity that just wants to survive at all costs. It doesn't have some sort of massive dark agenda that's attached to a high level alien consciousness. No, it's a very basic primitive creature that is an animal, essentially, an animal with very low level consciousness. However, it does not belong on Earth. And I'd go so far as to say that Earth right now has a lot of energetic portals, a lot like the portals the portal that we saw in season one, but the portals, because there were more portals throughout the series. that have invited these energies. And sometimes these energies work through hosts, like we've seen in season two, where I had a very huge rude awakening, as one might call it, a dream that showed me parts of the like themes from season two of Stranger Things, and it showed me being removed from a little bit of a war scene that was happening at the level of my consciousness. So these are real. I mean, gifted children, real. Psychic gifts, real. Energetic gates and portals, real. Government funded experiments, real and documented. And as we're elevating our consciousness as part of the global awakening, as our individual awakening and ascension, and collective awakening and ascension, we're going to start welcoming more gifted children. And what I mean by that is children that already have their gifts activated from a very young age, where they don't have to go through a type of school to remember how to master their gifts. Their gifts are already in them, they're already being guided to trust themselves, which is really what we're telling adults right now as they're awakening and remembering. We tell them, believe in yourself, trust yourself, because consistently in our life we've been taught to doubt ourselves through the programming, because intuitively we can pick up the truth, we can see the signs and synchronicities, but because the messages that are coming from the official sources, whether it's guardians and teachers or politicians, are controversial, they're not indicative of what we have already sensed. Rather, they're saying to us, no, 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 what you saw, what you sensed is wrong. You should trust us because we have the guidance, right? We were given all the steps to outsource our thinking to somebody else outside of us, which completely, it's like created a blockage when it comes to trusting ourselves and interpreting our own inner guiding system. Watch Stranger Things. Honestly, I would recommend watching Stranger Things a couple of times in different parts of your ascension journey. I know season 5 is coming and I'm really excited about it, the final series of the show. But what I would say is that there are so many things that are embedded into the making of this show that wasn't necessarily the goal of the creators. I would say their consciousness or the writers, whoever was involved with the final screenplay, they channel things a little bit like when you watch the animations that have channeled messages. The people that are in the studio, they're not some sort of spiritual wizards, masterminds that think to themselves, now how can we awaken people with these images? They're trusting their inner system, and their inner system, their intuition is saying to them, well, we should use a blue butterfly or a blue rose. We should use these symbols that they speak to me. I don't know why, but I feel like we should use them. And because they're using those symbols, the people that are awakening, they're also thinking to themselves, I don't know why, but I think I should watch this movie. I don't know why, but this symbol is speaking to me, because the consciousness is guiding us from within. And our consciousness is both at an individual level experienced at different types, archetypes, different scenarios that might be foreign to our logical mind. And the collective consciousness is helping us guide one another through these symbols, through these messages. But MK Ultra, it never ceases to amaze me how many resources there have been created to show us the extent of the magnitude of the program. And I would go so far as to say that it wasn't limited to the US, and how negatively it has impacted us for generations to come, because it didn't stop. Whatever official documents have been declassified, the program adapted and it's embedded into the system as it is today. There is another resource on Neo, the New Earth Order.com, where I wrote about a book. Let me just see if I can find it quickly. The Montauk Project by Preston B. Nichols. So the book talks about mind control and government experiments in a similar way that, we have MK Ultra, but this goes so far as to say that there are energetic portals that allow us to travel back in time. Metaphysical laws, universal laws. It's not me that's saying this. I'm saying that because I'm aware of what the universal laws represent, the way that we interpret time is not necessarily the way that time works, and the way that our consciousness operates is not necessarily the way that we understand it. It just is. Our understanding is catching up to what it already is, and maybe history has been changed multiple times. Maybe one day we'll be able to understand the principles of time travel. I don't think we need to, because I don't think we're supposed to. I don't think we're supposed to mess with the past beyond. Let's understand what the past is. Let's understand how many versions of the past are there. Let's understand what were the ages, the eras that we need to learn from. Why are there certain periods that are more important than others? Why do we keep returning back to ancient Egypt? What is it that's encoded in there that is still relevant today? And why do we still have mind control projects? Why are we still talking about them? Why do we keep forgetting these things? Again, I watched season 1 of Stranger Things when it came out. I've watched the show 3 or 4 times after that. Why is it that only now I'm picking up that MK Ultra was actually shown? Because I knew that it was inspired. I knew about the gifts. I think when I was watching the show, I really related to 11 as a her experience of being pushed to her limits psychically. Even though I wasn't part of this, uh, at least I don't remember consciously being part of a group like that, beyond being part of some school groups around gifted children and being measured how fast I read. Oh, I almost intuitively kind of remember being recorded how I perform when I was little, and having questions about that, but I wouldn't go so far as to continue to talk about that for the time being, because there are more important things. And one of those is guiding you to reconnect with your gift, you with your psychic gifts, your intuitive gifts, your spiritual gifts, and to remember that you have a part to play in the ascension, in the awakening. So go and watch season 1. Let me know if you picked up any other hidden or not so hidden clues, and what is it that you want people to remember from the show, because as I said, there are so many things encoded in it, as well as other TV series and movies. Thank you for watching. We've just passed the mark of 1,000 subscribers, which was the initial goal when I started the channel. So thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. And I'll be posting many more stories and TV series and movie analysis on the Lightworkers Hub on Substack.